Subin Matthew, and hi, my name is Subin Matthew, and thank you so much for joining me. We are starting a series on the Bible. I call it The Bible is Strange. It is an exploratory series where we think about, is it really worth believing and investing time and life in the Bible? So, without much further ado, let me begin it. There are many videos online that have the same content. You could Google, is it worth believing in the Bible? Or you could Google, why do we believe in the Bible? So, if you are someone who like serious content, I would encourage you to do that. Get online, search on this material, and you would find wonderful resources. This material was made for the youth in London, and the material has been catered for their needs. So, without much further ado, let's just get into it, and we'll know what I'm speaking about. Bible is strange. W- Look at what the Bible is, how it was made, and why it matters, and the sufficiency of Scripture. This is Neil, and he has come across this meme that says, by saying that the Bible was written the way it was, because that is how people were back then, you're tactically admitting that the Bible is a man made construct. Now, that shakes his fundamental faith, so he quickly Googles it and he finds out a meme that says, the Bible was written by men. Then isn't every book written by men? Hmm. I mean, aren't human beings responsible for writing everything? Like Jane Austen wrote Pride and Prejudice. Shakespeare wrote Macbeth. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings. I mean, everything. So wasn't it men involved in it? So, you know, that's not a big thing. That's not a great news. That is just a normal news. So, as we are exploring into this, we have two questions at hand. First one, is the Bible really worth believing? Or why do we believe in what we believe? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my investment? Is it worth my life to trust in the Bible or this frame or this reference of biblical understanding? I mean, come on. Every religion has their book. The Quran exists for Islam, the Gita's exists for Hindus, Bible exists for Christians, or the Jewish Bible for Jews, the Mormon Bible for Mormons, the Jehovah Witnesses have their own type of Bible. We have so many different things. The Tao Te Ching is a Bible or technically a religious writing for Judaism, which was shown in the movie Big Lebowski. If you look at your homes, and you'll find the plumber's Bible or the complete Bible of baby names, or the essential Bible on hacking, or you're like, wait. So the word Bible just means something that is authoritative or standardized in modern terms. So then why should we believe that the Christian or the Judeo-Christian Bible is worth believing? Most often as Christians, we end up in this place. People ask, why do you believe in the Bible? I believe in the Bible because of Jesus and how amazing Jesus is and his love for me. And it's like, wait, how do you believe in Jesus again? Oh, I believe because it's written about him in the Bible. And you're like, wait, did you just go back to saying that you believe in the Bible because of Jesus and you believe in Jesus because of the Bible? Isn't that just circular reasoning? In other words, isn't it just saying that I like ice cream because it's tasty, and ice cream is tasty because I like it. It's kind of nonsensical. And this time, I want us to just break us free from such a circular reasoning and look at Bible for what it is. So we're going to look at it in some ways. We're going to first see a preface. That means we have to believe in something before we believe in the Bible, and that is the existence of God. Then we're going to look at how the Bible came to be, or called the uniqueness of revelation. We're going to look at the Bible and saying, is it made up? Now, have they? How do we look at history? Are they cross-referenced? Are they testable? Is it human? Is it weird, or is it going to be not weird? Like, is it going to be about flying mermaids or stuff like that? You can look at the manuscript to say, hey, is the stuff that the people who wrote it, are those stuff that they believed, are this the same thing that we are getting, or has the Bible been messed up due to transmission? Like, have people in during transmission messed it up and changed what it is, or have a group of organization or a church or something changed what it is? Then we're going to look at what's prophetical. I mean, is it just possible that human beings made everything up? So let's begin. First of all, preface: God exists. That's the first premise. We cannot start this thought without acknowledging that there is a God. The reason is this: if we say there's no God, then we'll have to say that nothing that we do actually matters, because nothing has a matter. But if you could just take for consideration that God does exist, then that gives us a reason to investigate into the Bible. Those who are interested in figuring out if God exists or not, I would suggest that you read Kalam's cosmological argument. Kalam's cosmological argument is written by Kalam, a medieval Arab philosopher, and he says these things. He says everything that has began to exist, that means it never existed before but began now to exist, has a reason. The universe has begun to exist. That means at one point of time the universe was not there, and then it began to exist. Therefore the universe has a cause, and if it has a cause, then there is someone who has given the cause for it to exist. Or in other words, if God exists, as God willed or God wanted the universe to exist, and that is a cause in which the universe began to exist. Or creationism goes into place, saying that although random probabilities are possible, excuse me, although random probabilities are possible, it is not highly probable as the probability of God existing. There are many others. I would suggest that you could do a research on that, or I could come back later for videos on that. Now, if God exists, He's either active in the life of people, or He's passive. I mean, in the Greek and Roman understanding, God was initially responsible for creating everything, but He is not going to be interested in the lives of men. The Hinduism has something very similar. Brahma, who was a creator, was only responsible for creating everything, but then after that, he has lost his role. In fact, Hindus don't even have temples. I think there's one temple for Brahma, as of Wikipedia. And the reason is this, that Hindus don't consider Brahma as anyone worth adoring. The most adoration goes for the second and third created beings, Vishnu and Shiva. So in that way, he's passive. But if God is active, then we have to come to the fact that saying God involves himself into the lives of people. In other words, we can say if God cares for people or God doesn't care. If God doesn't care for people, then he does not need to be active. He just has to be passive. But if he cares for people, he has to be active in their lives. Be cares for people, there should be an amount of love for people. Or he could just care for his name. There are many religions who say that God, like for example, the Romans also had Ephesus, and Ephesians believed that the statue of Ephesus fell from the meteor from the sky in her form, and they worshipped the meteor or prayed and made offerings and sacrifices to the meteor, because they believed that is what the goddess Ephesus looked like, and she wanted the people to know who she was. But that was the end of it. There was nothing more about it. But if a God exists who loves you, then he would love to communicate with you. And to communicate with you, he would talk or he would give his word. Then you would ask a question: if God does talk to others, God talk to everyone, doesn't God talk to every person, or at least every person who seeks Him? Then what makes the Bible unique? But this is our first premise. See, we have started going on and asking the fundamental question saying, is it really worth believing in the Bible? That is what we're going to go right now into the uniqueness of the Bible. So I thank you so much for joining in, and we'll stop this recording now.